Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Sorry I'm a bit late. There was a lot more news than I thought there was going to be today, and yeah, it was just a lot more news than I thought there was going to be. So much so I had to do some editing down just to, kind of get to things. But let me take care of some business first and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. And I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. And I have all the links to my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. And for those of you who saw Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Hello, everybody. Hi, Filthy. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Penn. Getting a little bit of caffeine in there. Yes, that is my Bad Batch Disneyland hat that I got there. Yeah, there's Disney ears. That is actually a drink container there. Let's see, drink container there. It's all from Star Wars or from Disneyland. So thank you, Penn. Yeah, this is actually one of my good finds there. It was, like I said, there wasn't a lot of Bad Batch stuff there. So, yeah. That's all right, Penn. I've done the caps lock too. So, yeah. Let's get to it, shall we? So, the big news, of course, this week is that Warner Media, Time Warner, however you want to call them, has merged with Discovery, which means they are no longer under the AT&T banner. Now, this isn't a big surprise. AT&T has been trying to dump Time Warner for a while, or Warner Media, however you want to call it. But this does give HBO Max an edge up on this, basically a leg up at this point. So all of the streaming services are all missing one thing: reality TV programming. None of them have it. Discovery has an abundance of reality TV programming, which for some reason people like. I don't understand it myself. Yeah, for me, I don't like the reality TV shows. It's all scripted anyway, most of it. So yeah, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing their own thing. And it's kind of funny, when I was doing the thumbnail for this episode, I was trying to find a good, I got the HBO Max logo, I got the Discovery logo, and then when I put them together, it became HBO Maxed. HBO Max. The way it came out, I'm like, that's actually not a bad name, quite honestly. If they didn't, if they were looking for a new name, if they wanted to, and they could still use the Discovery logo and all that stuff, but it kind of worked out. And that's what happens when you're doing thumbnails on the fly and you're trying to get stuff out as quickly as possible. You get happy little accidents, as Bob Rossi would say. Bob Rossi, a Rossi, it's wine, whatever. Penn asked, Disney dropped the ball on merchandise? Yes, they did. They dropped the ball on merchandise again. So for those of you who don't know, I was at Disneyland on Thursday. I actually flew down Thursday morning and flew back Thursday night. And boy, are my arms tired. Yeah, I did the Park Hopper Pass. So I actually was doing Disneyland and also California Adventure Park. And mainly I wanted to go on Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. That's what I wanted to do. I also wanted to get there before it was only supposed to be a 25% park capacity, but of course those fuckers in Orange County decided at the last minute to increase. Well, they decided on Tuesday to increase the limit like another 25, 30%. I can't remember what it was offhand. So the park was at half capacity, which really sucked. It really did. And they weren't prepared for it either. You can tell they didn't have enough spaces for people because you can't walk and eat and drink because you can't have your mask down. You're supposed to be stationary at a dining area that they have, all over the park and whatnot, and they have them separated by 6 feet space, and yeah, and there weren't enough spaces for the increase was going on there. Hey, Stanley, by the way. So yeah, it wasn't the best thing in the world. I did get on Rise of the Resistance though, which was cool. It was kind of funny. I was on the plane, and just as 7 o'clock hit, which is what you can do remotely, um, I joined the boarding group, and I got like boarding group 70 something or other. Wasn't sure if I was going to get on or not. So I was in a boarding group, go through the whole park and everything, and I'm looking at it up in my on my app repeatedly to see how long it was going to take. And at one point it was like 300 minutes, and then it dropped down to like 120 minutes, and then jumped back up to 200 minutes, and it kept going back and forth, and it's just like, fuck. And you can't get into line until you have a boarding pass. So yeah, I didn't go to Disney World, Mr. Robotto. I went to Disneyland. Are you a bit of a shopping victim? No, I'm not a shopping victim, Stanley. I was getting some stuff. So, like this stuff here, the ears and the cup, that's actually the two prizes for Bad Batch when Bad Batch ends. So, yeah, I do some business stuff as well as personal shopping as well. This was because I was getting a drink, and for a little extra money they gave you his head screws off, and you can actually put a drink in there, and it's got a straw that's behind him. That I actually had a drink in there, and it really sucks to have a drink in this thing because it spills. It doesn't keep it together. And then also that was a little bit extra with the drink as well. So that's pretty much what it was. That, on the other hand, was a impulse buy, the Mandalorian, because I already have that one right there, the child. It was a variant, and the collector of me was like, I need to get that. And of course, the R2D2 Star Wars hat, I wanted to get one of that. They don't allow pictures with Goofy at Disneyland anymore, Mr. Robotto, because of social distancing and whatnot. So, hey, Keith Hamilton. Yeah. That's Harry Potter land, Mr. Roboto. So Henry Cavill is in talks to basically be cast as one of the leads in Chad Stahelski's remake of The Highlander. That's right. You read it right. The Highlander. So Chad Stahelski, for those of you guys don't know, is actually the director for the John Wick movies. And he's a stuntman. That's what he started off as, was a stuntman. And I think he's turned into a really fucking good action director. So I'm okay with him actually directing a remake of Highlander. It's been a while, so sure, why not? And I don't know. If you're gonna go the route of Connor McLeod, I can see Henry Cavill as or Cavill, however you want to call it, I can see him as Connor McLeod. And then there's been rumors online that people want to see Dave Bautista as the Kurgan. And I don't know if I want Dave Bautista, especially after seeing him in Army of the Dead. I want someone who can actually act. Yeah. Yes, he's a big guy and whatnot. I don't really care. You can just get a tall actor to play Kurgan if you're going to go that route, or just pleasantly surprise us and change out the storyline a little bit. Will it have an Egyptian with a Scottish accent? Possibly. Maybe they'll have Ewan McGregor play, Ramirez, and he'll be an Egyptian. Yeah. Penn Farm Girl says there's nothing wrong with the original Highlander. It's still my favorite chick flick along Terminator. Yeah, I love Highlander. I really do. The second movie really sucks. We have to admit that. Yeah, The Sickening, Highlander 2, The Sickening. Yeah. And Clancy Brown is great in pretty much everything he's in. He's just an awesome dude. Yeah. So, yeah, well, whatever. What else is going on there? Rangers of the New Republic. So you remember that series that was supposed to be on Disney Plus that was supposed to be a spinoff of The Mandalorian? So Rangers of the New Republic is no longer in production over at Disney Plus. So that led to a lot of speculation that that was actually supposed to be Gina Carano's spinoff series for Cara Dune. And that there you go, boys and girls. So basically, if you're in a large production kind of thing, especially if you're going to be the head of a series that's going to be in a large production, you're going to fuck up a whole bunch of people's jobs by doing some really stupid stuff. So, yeah. You can speak your mind on your own time. Just don't fucking play chicken with a gigantic, company and think that you're going to get away with it. So, yeah, exactly, Stanley. It was to be expected, but still, I mean, come on. You got to know what you're doing when you're doing that kind of stuff. Hell, even Chris Pratt knew when to shut the fuck up. The anti-vaxxer that he is. Yeah. The Nevers was quietly renewed for a second season over at HBO Max. Yeah, they really didn't announce this one. I kind of stumbled across it, to tell you the truth, while I was looking for news items, and it was like this little tiny blurb on this site called TV Line that normally I don't even go anywhere near, and happened to see it, and I was like, "Oh, really? They've been renewed for a second season? Okay, when are we going to get the rest of the first season?" Which, we haven't gotten an idea of yet, but who knows when that'll happen. They haven't announced what the second half of the first season is going to be coming out. So what happened was we only had 6 episodes because of COVID that happened, and production shut down. They only had 6 episodes in the can, and they're supposed to have 12 episodes. Yeah. Stanley Twiddle says second season means second half of season one. That's what I was thinking at one point, but I don't think so, Stanley. I think they mean second season because they were actually greenlit for 12 episodes. Is what they were greenlit for. Someone actually told me that in the chat of one of the Nevers episodes that I reviewed. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, it's been a while since all this news usually happens quite a bit back, and yeah. Mr. Robotto, you can go on my website on Facebook and take a look at all the pictures up there. I've got them up there. Stanley says they did a dollhouse on us. Was my first. Yeah, I agree with you. The episode 6 was definitely a dollhouse. Yeah. So Rick and Morty, they have a spinoff series coming called The Vindicators. That's right. If you're a regular watcher of Rick and Morty, you know who the Vindicators are, and that's coming to Adult Swim. No mention on a release date on this one. It's just that we know that Adult Swim has greenlit it, and that it is being worked on at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. Dan Harmon actually has a couple different things that he's working on at the moment, and hopefully he survives and doesn't burn out. I know that's what he did with Community. Community, he burned out on that one, and he also did it kind of with Rick and Morty in the first, I think the second season is where he kind of burned out. So, and Solar Opposites is not a Rick and Morty spinoff. It's just one of the guys, not Dan Harmon. It's the other guy. I can't remember who it is. The guy who does the voices. That's his show that's on Hulu. It's okay. It's no Rick and Morty, that's for sure. You can definitely tell where the creativity comes from out of that duo. It's mainly Dan Harmon off of that. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He does have some funny stuff every now and then, the other guy, but yeah. It's a market substitute. Justin Rowland. Thank you, Keith. I could never remember his name. I see his face. I mean, I've watched enough of the little behind the scenes stuff, on Adult Swim, where he's drunk and doing the voices, I should say. And yes, he does get drunk while he's doing the voices, if that's any indication of what's going on. But yeah. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah. So, Titans season 3 is coming out sometime in August on HBO Max. We don't know when. We haven't been given a release date on that, the official release date, other than August on HBO Max. But the better news is Doom Patrol season 3 comes out on HBO Max on September 23rd. We actually have a date on that one, September 23rd. And I, for one, am really fucking excited for that one because Doom Patrol is great. If you have not seen Doom Patrol, go and watch it. It's on HBO Max. There's 2 seasons up there. It's going to be the best thing you see. It's the best thing on TV right now. It really is. Yeah. Stanley asks, anyone seen MODOK yet? No, I haven't. It's behind a paywall. Philip Adamic says they were working on Highlander since 2016. Only got Cavill on board because they killed the Snyderverse. Thank God. Cavill likely to play Kurgan. Sam Heughan to play Duncan. Well, I don't think they're going Duncan MacLeod. I mean, granted, the TV series was okay and it ran for multiple seasons, but everyone is more along the lines of Connor MacLeod, not Duncan MacLeod. Alexander Siddig as Ramirez. I don't know about that. Yeah. Oh, that's right. You guys get Hulu gets mixed into Disney Plus across the pond. I forgot about that. Yeah, you guys are lucky. Unfortunately, we have Hulu as a separate entity, and I'm waiting for Hulu to fold into Disney Plus as well. Yeah. Yeah. No one's a fan of the Snyderverse, Mr. Robotto, except for Snyder fans. That's the reason why it failed. See, the thing is, if it was very popular, it would have made money. That's the way I look at it. If you are making these big budget movies, especially with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, main characters from the DC universe, kind of hard to fuck up. Basically, that are easy money makers, and you don't make a lot of money off of those movies, or you change them fundamentally to the point where people just despise looking at those movies because of how fundamentally you change those characters to make them despicable. That's the reason why it doesn't make any money, and that's why the reason why they cancel it. No, Batman vs Superman was not successful, Stanley. I believe it broke even, if I remember correctly. Hey, Morks. We didn't have to say your name 3 times either. I'm surprised. And I'm very late anyway, so that's the reason why you made it. Yeah. Yeah, Man of Steel didn't make money. Batman vs Superman, I believe, broke even, and Justice League tanked. And from what I understand, because of putting the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, that also tanked as well, money-wise for them. They didn't make any money off of that. They were trying to get subscribers in, and they are, what did they say? A third of Netflix subscribers right now. They're at 60 million subscribers. I was actually just reading this morning. And they're only at like half of what Disney Plus subscribers have. So Disney Plus, actually, they're less than half of Disney Plus. Disney Plus is somewhere around. No, I take that back. So Netflix is supposed to be around 240 million subscribers, 300 million subscribers, somewhere around there. Disney Plus is at like 150 million subscribers. And and then HBO Max is at 60 million subscribers. That's where they're at. That's how it breaks down. Yeah. Philip Demick says, I wanted to like MODOK. It could have been great, just like Marvel Robot Chicken. The joke. See, I don't like that they're actually making it a comedy, Philip. So, also, I am not the biggest fan of Patton Oswalt. I know people are going to go, oh my God, how come? I don't know what it is. He just isn't something that I am chaotic neutral on him, where I neither like nor dislike him. He's just there. So, wasn't my choice for that. And I was kind of hoping, since that was part of the Jeff Loeb era of Marvel, that it was going to be canceled like all the other stuff that Jeff Loeb had put up there. Yeah. Stanley Turtle says, I didn't know it was Robot Chicken animation, but I agree it's not funny enough. From what I understand, it's 3D animated, but it's made to look like stop motion is what it's supposed to be. That's what I understand. The same thing, they've done the same thing in Love, Death, and Robots. The tall grass one was actually 3D animated, but it looks like stop motion photography. That's one of the things they've been doing a lot lately in animation, is making stuff look like other stuff. Making 3D animation, I should say, look like other stuff. Like other types of animation, which is cool, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan. That was another reason why I wasn't going to shell out money to see it either. I was thinking of doing the 7-day free trial of Hulu once Motherland, Fort Salem season 2 comes back. That way I can binge through that, and then I can also binge through MODOK. Or not, depending on how it is. How I find it. This is actually some pretty good news too. So also over at HBO Max and Cartoon Network, a new animated Batman series, Batman the Cape Crusader, is coming to both HBO Max and Cartoon Network. And the executive producers for this series are Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, unfortunately, and Matt Reeves. So the animation, or I should say the style of art, looks actually kind of cool. It goes back to the 1930s. So you got Batman with the long ears kind of thing. And I'm interested to see what this is going to do. This looks like it's actually going to be really kind of cool. And yeah, I don't know who they're getting to voice Batman at the moment. So that would be also my thing that I'm kind of interested in, because they're also doing over at HBO Max and Cartoon Network, My Adventures with Superman is what they're calling it. And that's already got a 2-season order from HBO Max and Cartoon Network, with Jack Quaid, who's voicing Superman. Jack Quaid, of course, playing Huey over on The Boys. And that's an interesting choice for the voice of Superman, but I'm all for it. I'll give him a shot, see how it goes. And the animation style is much more anime on that one, which is an interesting take on that. I'll see what that is. Yeah. Says MODOK looks like Robot Chicken, could be CG, but I think it's mostly stop motion. From what I saw, that, and I don't know if it was a joke or not, but they had Patton Oswalt in a MODOK costume and supposedly doing stop motion, or not stop motion, motion capture of him in order to do the animation. And I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke or not. The way they put it on Twitter was like, it could have been real, it could have been a joke. I don't know how they were doing it, but yeah, whatever. Mr. Robotto, next Comic-Con's not going to be for years, most likely at this point. So, what else we got here? This one was kind of a weird one. I actually mentioned this, I want to say a couple of months ago, that Schwarzenegger was working on a Netflix series that was supposed to be a spy series of him, and so his character and his daughters, he has a daughter in this with this character. They're both spies. supposedly Netflix has ordered 8 episodes of this untitled Schwarzenegger father-daughter spy series to order at this point. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't know who's running it. It could be really bad. It could be decent. Most of the stuff that Schwarzenegger has dealt with has been kind of bad lately. So I don't know how this is going to go. We'll find out. Is the daughter Eliza Dushku? I wish, Penn. And having the EP being James Cameron, which would be a bad thing, because then what would happen is James Cameron would be sending rewrites of all the scripts to whoever's running the show while he's on Avatar 45 or something like that. Jamie Curtis. Well, see, you could have it. Jamie Curtis's character is dead, and they're off. Yeah, yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis. That was a sequel that they should have done straight out from the gate there, but I don't know. Oh, you'll see it, Mr. Robotto, if you live long enough. Yeah. Mark says I started jujitsu, fell asleep. So, you think Breach is worse than jujitsu? Really? Oh, fuck, Marks. That's saying a lot, because jujitsu is really bad. I mean, jujitsu's really, really bad. What was surprisingly good, Penn? Stanley Twiddle says, how about a combined Nick Cage, Bruce Willis, Harrison Ford, and Arnold movie? Well, so Nick Cage and Bruce Willis aren't doing anything of quality anymore. Well, neither is Arnold, to tell you the truth. Harrison Ford is still holding out hope that, Indiana Jones 5 is going to be made before he turns 90. So there's that. Other than that, otherwise, until Indiana Jones gets made, Harrison Ford is just basically crashing planes on different runways around the world, is what he's doing. So, that's all he's doing with his time. But yeah, Nick Cage and Bruce Willis seem to be making money, I guess, just for the government, so they can pay off whatever the taxes they own. Schwarzenegger is just making bad movies because he's making bad decisions on some stuff. And yeah. And if you don't believe me, go and take a look at his last run of movies. They're not that great. I am the proud owner, I guess you can say. Actually, I got it for free. Where is it? It's up in the Arnold section someplace. Oh, there it is. Sabotage. It's literally over. It's where the spoiler alert sign is. It's right there. It's kind of hard to read because the camera, for some reason, is fuzzing out the background. Yeah. Shia LaBeouf is not going to be in Indiana Jones 5, Mr. Robotto, because he's in rehab again or something like that. They didn't invite him back either because no one cares about Mutt. Mutt was put into the euthanasia chamber and put to sleep, unfortunately. Yeah, Harrison Ford does like to get high a lot in airplanes. So this is an interesting thing. There's a little teaser that was put out on Twitter, I should say, by Netflix. And I'd heard about the movie, but didn't know when it was coming out or really what it's about, other than it's about 3 generations of assassins. That's all I know. It's called Gunpowder Milkshake, and it's starring Karen Gillian, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh, Angela Bassett, and Paul Giamatti. That's a fucking huge cast. And this is going to come out on Netflix on July 14th. I'm actually excited for this one. I want to see what this is going to look like. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like there's a lot of violence in it. It looks like there's a lot of bullets that fly around, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, July 14th, Gunpowder Milkshake. I know, Penn. It's a huge cast. It's a very huge cast. And having Netflix put together that kind of star power I mean, I've been hearing about this one for a couple of years now, like about 2 or 3 years, and to have it all of a sudden finally just pop up. And again, this was one of those things that was just hidden. Um, Happened to scroll through something, I was looking for news and I saw that and I'm like, "Really? That's coming out?" And that's coming out like in 2 months? Holy shit. All right. And I don't have to go to the movie theater or pay extra to see this. So, or wait for it to come out on video or, on demand or whatever it is. Cause yeah, right now I'm not going to any movie theaters. Yes, I did fly, I know, and it was a packed airplane. Yes, I did go to Disneyland and I kept my distance from everybody around me. Um, but I'm not going to a theater. Sorry, just not doing it. Mr. Robotto says, Dennis, if you can see into another universe where no, no. No one wants to see anything from Shia LaBeouf ever again, Mr. Roboto. Yeah. He was basically an actor whose time was up back when he was a child actor, and it should have just stayed that way. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Netflix, there's a lot of Netflix news too. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of HBO Max news and a lot of Netflix news. I wonder if there was like an earnings call or something like that where they just released a shit ton of news. There was a lot of news this week, just a lot of news. It was ridiculous the amount of news that came out. Speaking of which, Jenna Ortega has been cast as the kind of grown up Wednesday Addams in Tim Burton's 8-episode Netflix series called Wednesday, which of course is based on Wednesday Addams. And Wednesday Addams is supposed to be going to an academy, I guess is what this is. Um, yeah, it's described as a sleuthing, supernaturally infused mystery, charting Wednesday Addams' years as a student at the Nevermore Academy. Wednesday attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart a monstrous killing spree that has terrorized the local town, and solve the supernatural mystery that has embroiled her parents 25 years ago, all while navigating her new and very tangled relationships at Nevermore. Does that sound kind of familiar, like something that we may have just seen recently called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Possibly. So, yeah, exactly, Stanley. It's Tim Burton, so not a good track record either lately. Actually, I don't think Tim Burton's had a good track record for the last I'm gonna say 20 years. There's where I'm going on that one. Yeah, I think the last thing of his that I saw in the theater was the Alice in Wonderland movie, and that was shite. I I saw that for free, as a matter of fact, too. And I was very disappointed on that one. Yeah. Is Wednesday Addams a witch? No, she's part of the Addams family. So she is I don't know what she is. Some supernatural thing. Penn Farm Girl says there was an old YouTube show about Wednesday Addams in college, very short episodes. It was pretty funny. Huh. Didn't hear about that. Yeah. Yeah, there was a sequel to it too, right, Stanley? To the Alice in Wonderland movie that he directed. You might have been forgiven that if you were sick the one showing that it was available in the theaters before it left and was canceled. It was pretty bad. I mean, I think it was Jabberwocky was what the title of it was or something like that. Yeah, it was worse than the Alice in Wonderland one. Wait, yeah, you would think it would have been up Tim Burton's alley the way he used to do movies. But I don't know, man. I don't know. He seems to have lost whatever talent he had. And I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. Also over at Netflix, Bumblebee director Travis Knight is working on a movie called Uprising, and it's about the worldwide spread of a virus. Hold on, that turns people into vampires. So, and it's based off a book called "The People's." What is it again? It's a really long title of this book, and yeah, that's what it's called. The People's really long title of vampires. Yeah, a People's History of the Vampire Uprising is what the name of the book is. And so he's going to be doing this. It says the film is set after a global viral outbreak turns people into vampires and follows CIA agent Lauren Webb, who works against the clock to uncover the truth behind a growing uprising that threatens to wipe out humanity. Emily Morris will oversee for 21 Laps. 21 Laps is, of course, being the production company that's actually working on that. Okay. The Strain is what's yeah, kind of, sort of, but maybe for tweens. Maybe it's a YA version of The Strain. Maybe it is a YA version of The Strain, Stanley. I don't know. Netflix it throws money at a lot of stuff. It really does. Last year, I want to say there was 900 different movies and TV shows in production at Netflix, and I think they upped it this year. I want to say they're at 1,500, somewhere around there. Do they sparkle? Maybe. I would love to see a Daybreakers ripoff, Mr. Robotto, because Daybreakers was a fucking good movie. Yeah. The book was okay, Penn, and then the series started off okay, and then just kind of yeah. And that was Guillermo del Toro that was working on that book, The Strain. That was the only reason why I read that book. And it was kind of like a blend of vampires and zombies in a way, the Strain worked. But yeah. What else? Oh yeah. So this is something that no one really asked for, but Joe Cornish and John Boyega are reuniting to do a sequel to Attack the Block. And if you're kind of fuzzy on when Attack the Block came out, that was 10 years ago. So you're getting a 10-year-old sequel to a movie that was just kind of mediocre, honestly. It had some really good special effects, especially for a low budget movie, but the story really wasn't there. I saw that in the theater when it came out, Attack the Block, and it was okay. But it wasn't anything for me to go, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I want to see more of this. It was just kind of like, yeah, all right. I think I forgot about it, like maybe as soon as I walked out the doors. And exactly, Mr. About it, does Attack the Block need a sequel? I don't think it does, quite honestly. But then again, who knows? That was one of Boyega's first roles, Stanley. Attack the Block. That was like, I think it might have been his first role. Because he was a teenager at the time, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But yeah, what do I know? I only watch movies and TV shows and whatnot. And occasionally report on them and review them and whatnot. So yeah. So July 23rd, Snake Eye is coming out to theaters. And this is not a remake of the really bad Brian De Palma movie with Nick Cage that was done in the early 2000s. This is actually Snake Eye G.I. Joe Origins is what we've got going on here. And the trailer was released for it. Yeah. Nah. So if I remember correctly, in the G.I. Joe cartoon series, wasn't Snake Eye supposed to be white? I don't know. I don't remember. I thought that was the whole deal, was that, and the reason between Storm Shadow and him having that animosity was that he was an outsider who was being taught martial arts that he shouldn't have been being taught. and that was one of the source of their rift between them. And I don't know, but it's played by an Asian dude now, and I honestly can't remember who the guy. I've never seen him in anything, or maybe I have and I just forgot. But the trailer really did not look like anything special. I just kind of saw it like, oh, martial arts. Okay. I'll wait for it to come out on HBO Max when it's going to come out, which I believe is where it's headed anyways, HBO Max. Yes, Mr. Roboto. Are there bad Nick Cage movies, you ask? Yes, everything from 1995, I believe, on. And remind you, he has an Oscar. He won an Oscar for Moonstruck. There you go. So that is an Oscar award winner that was in Jiu-Jitsu. Stanley says, seems I'm too old for G.I. Joe. I never grew up with toy cartoons. Are you older than, were you born before the 1960s, Stanley? Because G.I. Joe was around in the 1960s is where he came about. Actually, I think even before, no, 1960s is right. The cartoons, yes, didn't show up until the 80s, but I watched those when I was a teenager. Yeah. I don't know. I never saw that, Mr. Robotto. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. So, for those of you who are fans of the TV show Evil, season 1, of Evil came and went. It's on CBS. Well, season 2, be prepared to pony up some cash because season 2 is now going behind a paywall at Paramount Plus. So no longer going to be over at CBS. It's going to be over at Paramount Plus. And it's also going to be joined by Clarice, which is that Silence of the Lambs, I guess, series, you can say, based on, Clarice, Jodie Foster's character, and SEAL Team. So there you go. I guess they're moving everything over into Paramount Plus for some reason, thinking that people are actually going to pay money in order to watch really bad TV shows that should have been on CBS to begin with, just so they can show some Klingon boobage. Ugh. Yeah. Penn says, I thought Cage won the award for leaving Las Vegas. I thought it was Moonstruck that he won it for, Penn. I believe that's what he won it for. What movie did Nick Cage Academy win an Oscar for? And it was not for Spider-Man. Oh, it was Leaving Las Vegas. You're right. 1995. There you go. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, it is hard to believe that he's actually an Oscar winner. And also, I believe Bruce Willis at one point was nominated for an Oscar, was he not? So, I mean, you got all these people that are either Oscar winners or former, or Oscar nominees and stuff like that. Even Cuba Gooding Jr. Remember Cuba Gooding Jr. was an Oscar winner. Yes, he was. And he's done like Snow Dogs 5. So, there you go. Yeah. I did say Klingon boobage. Yes, I did, Mr. Roboto. Because that was in Star Trek Discovery, I believe, first season, along with swearing and stuff like that. Yeah. Yes, you're right, Keith. Sylvester Stallone is an Oscar winner as well, but not for acting, only for directing and writing, if I remember correctly. Not for acting. Thankfully. At least the Academy has some sense. Willis was just an Emmy for Moonlighting, I think. I think he wasn't nominated. I thought he was nominated at one point for like the I See Dead People movie. Fuck, I can't remember the name of that one now. M. Night Shyamalan's movie. Maybe I'm wrong, which I probably am, but that's fine. Fuck, here's a first. So Dan Harmon's new Fox series, Crepopolis, is going to, and I quote, will serve as the first ever animated series curated entirely on the blockchain, planning to sell digital goods ranging from NFTs of one-of-a-kind character and background art and gifts, as well as tokens that provide exclusive social experiences for superfans. Yeah, so basically, this if you don't know what an NFT is, basically it is digital art that is being sold for thousands upon thousands of dollars as one of a kind, and you only get a digital copy of it, so there is no physical copy out there. And I've thought about it, really about, doing NFTs just to get in on the craze before it disappears, but and just make some money on the side kind of thing. But I can't do it, honestly. There's a part of me that isn't that dishonest, quite honestly. I can't do it. I can't morally put myself in that realm that people are doing this. Yes, Mark Harmon, Mark Harmon can do that. Mark Harmon, Dan Harmon. There we go. Mark Harmon's an actor. Dan Harmon, sure. If you want to do that, dude, go for it. I mean, that'll give you a couple more months of booze money and drug money. But yeah, no, that's just crap. It really is. And I hope that whole NFT bullshit goes away. Exactly, Stanley. I consider it bullshit as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not interested by it. So Jeremy Irvine is in talks to play Alan Scott in the HBO Max Green Lantern Corps series. Okay, that sounds good. I didn't know they're going to go with Alan Scott in this one. So I know they're talking about, of course, well, they've already cast Guy Gardner, John Stewart. I know they're talking about casting. And then, of course, they're going to have some alien Green Lanterns in there too. But I didn't know they were going to do Alan Scott as well. That's actually kind of interesting that they're going to do that. I'm all for it. But who knows? Also, season 2 of Raised by Wolves may have some time jumping shenanigans involved in all of this. Oh, yeah. So, they've added 6 new cast members to this. Peter Christopherson, Selena Jones, Morgan Santo, James Harkness, Kim Engelbrecht, Jennifer Sayang, there we go, are all going to be in this. So it says in season 2, android partners mother and father, along with their brood of 6 human children, join a newly formed aesthetic colony in Kepler 22b's mysterious tropical zone. But navigating this strange new society is only the start of their troubles as mother's natural child, the snake creature, threatens to drive what little remains of the human race to extinction. So Christopherson will play Cleaver, a devoted atheist soldier, veteran of the war on Earth, whose only friend is the supercomputer he's been sworn to protect. Okay. Jones will play Grandmother, a godlike android built thousands of years ago by members of the lost civilization that existed on Kepler 22b. So I'm sure we're going to have flashbacks to thousands of years ago, which is where the time shenanigans for me comes in. Santo will play Vril, a fully humanoid android custom built to look and behave just like the real Vril Pell did the year she committed suicide. Okay, great. And Harkness will play Tamerlane, an atheist army grunt soldier with a with a defiant personality deficit. Either way, and Engelbrecht will play Decima, highly educated scientist weapons developer on Earth who did a lot of immoral things in order to achieve success, domination in her field. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. All right. Um. Yeah, we already know. You pretty much already know how I thought about season one on that one, and fuck, that final episode was just so fucking stupid. It really was. Keith, yeah, I don't fault you for it, man. I mean, yeah, if you liked the first one, more power to you. We all have our own likes and dislikes and stuff like that. Yeah, I just was not a fan of it. But then again, I mean, the guy who wrote it he really, 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 really loves Ridley Scott's universes and whatnot, and decided to kind of ape that, and then took shortcuts in logic and stuff like that. And yeah, but anyway. Stanley says, I was undecided about this show until the last episode. That one broke me. Exactly. I was wondering where it was going as well, Stanley. In that last episode, that's what broke me as well. Because I was just like, what the fucking snake pit? Yeah. It didn't make any sense to me. Yeah. And the final thing that I've got going on here is Vampire Academy has been ordered to series at Peacock. We'll see if this one actually makes it, because I know Vampire Academy was ordered to series at Netflix at one point. It was also ordered to series at was it ordered at Hulu? I think it was looked at Hulu at one point. So Vampire Academy is a series of books for tweens, obviously. And if I remember correctly, I think one of my old roommates knows the author of the series. And yeah, I want to say that there is somebody that I know that who knows a person who knows the dog walker of the person. No, he actually knows this person who God. So in Vampire Academy, two young women's friendship transcends their strikingly different classes as they prepare to complete their education and enter Royal Vampire Society. The first book in the series was previously adapted into a film in 2014. Okay, there we go. So it was actually made into a film in 2014. I thought maybe that was an alternate universe that I was thinking of, but maybe not. And it says 6 books were published in the series in total between 2007 and 2010. That's a lot of fucking books between a 3-year time span. Pleck is the name of the author, who is no, excuse me, I take that back. Julie Pleck and Marguerite McIntyre are attached to write. That's what it is. The novels were written by Rochelle Mead, is the name of the woman who wrote that. Yeah. It's gonna be something that I skip. I already know this, but hey, it's over on Peacock if you guys are willing to go through a paywall again to watch that kind of stuff. Is it time for the Stargate reboot? Possibly. Although it's at Sci-Fi, so who knows? You'll just rewatch Mr. Robotto? Is he sending you movies that we should know about, Pen? Or are you talking about Mr. Robot? I'm sorry. Yes, it is Siffy. It's over at Siffy. Yeah. So that's all I got news-wise for you guys. I mean, like I said, there was a lot more other stuff, like piddly stuff though, but it wasn't confirmed yet. It was like, this has been announced, but it isn't in the works yet. And usually what that means is they put it out there public wise to kind of get clamoring, kind of like, a Zack Snyder Justice League trilogy. which isn't going to get any traction, but they put it out there anyway in order to get fans to, a small group of fans to be very vocal to try and get it to be made. Yeah. But fortunately enough, sometimes some of the executives take the coke hose out of their ass and realize that, it's not making them any money. That's what it is the money dries up, so the coke that's actually going up their ass dries up to sober them up enough to go, hey, wait a minute, we made a mistake by actually greenlighting that. We're not going to greenlight it anymore. And hence the reason why there is no more Snyderverse. See how that is? Money. No money equals no coke to no executive ass at WB, which leads to a canceling of the Snyderverse. You like how that triangle goes? There you go. We're not getting that Tremor show either. Thank God. I mean, come on, man. There's fucking tons of stuff to do new stuff on. They really don't need to do all this really stupid remakes of stuff. So turning off the Stanley Turtle says, speaking of Stargate, took me a few minutes to recognize Claudia Black. Yeah, me too. It did as well in the Nevers. Stanley, yeah. Yeah, I was actually looking at the actress and I'm like, who is that? I don't remember she looks familiar, but I don't remember who that is. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, now I know who it is. I'm like, although it doesn't make sense now, Yeah. So what else I got for you? What was I going to say? Oh, well, I'll tell you guys a little bit about Disneyland. Sure, why not? So again, I went to Disneyland on Thursday. Rise of the Resistance ride. Got in the afternoon. I want to say I got on the ride somewhere around like 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. And the ride's actually pretty fucking cool. So you get hustled into, a shuttle, if you will. And so you're on this little ride. It kind of bumps a little bit. It's nothing big or anything like that. But you're supposed to get captured by the not the resistance, what are the duck face troopers called? The New Order. There you go. So you get captured by the New Order, and Kylo Ren wants to get the secret base out of whoever is on board, kind of thing. And so you get hustled out of the shuttle into these little cars, and then it's on a trackless system. You can actually see where the track is. It's buried under the ground, but you end up kind of moving around and whatnot. You go backwards and forwards and whatnot, and you're moving around, and there's different it's actually really cool looking. I guess I got to see one of the rare Easter eggs. There's different versions, so there's different rooms that you can go into, but I guess I got one of the rare Easter eggs, which is Finn in his stormtrooper uniform, and you see him. He interacts with you on a screen at one point, and then he's also out there fighting stormtroopers, the duck troopers, at one point and getting shot at. They did a really good job of the way they did it, because I mean, you can barely tell that there's a screen there that they are using to project, these characters on and whatnot. It's really well done. And then, of course, you finally end up, your car ends up going into an elevator shaft kind of thing. They click into place, and then you're on a motion controlled little elevator thing, and you fly around or whatnot, and you land, and that's the end of the ride. But it's actually really kind of cool. Stanley says, did you team up with Feist again? No, I didn't. This is a solo mission on this one. Yeah. Indy 5, the quest for pot. Yeah, exactly. It should be. The quest for peyote. The Peyote Chronicles. Peyote Chronicles. Indiana Jones 5, The Peyote Chronicles. I'm not the biggest fan of, of course, the latest trilogy of Star Wars, the whole Rey series, the Rey saga, as I call it, because as far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen. It's just horrible. It's horribly bad, and you can tell they're slowly phasing it out of the park, out of Galaxy's Edge, and they're bringing in some of the original trilogy stuff, and they're slowly wiping out the JJ verse. It's pretty funny. I have a feeling that by 2023, it'll just be a small section of the New Order stuff, and it's going to be all original trilogy again, or The Mandalorian, one of the two. Because I know they were talking about doing The Mandalorian, bringing the Mandalorian stuff back in for Galaxy's Edge, which I was kind of hoping to see, but didn't get to see it. I think they're waiting until they open it up again. I did go over to California Adventure Park because Avengers Academy is supposed to be opening up on June 4th. And I was kind of hoping to see what I could see, out there. There really isn't a lot to see because there's a big fence. I mean, a big tall fence that you can't really see that much. All I saw was the name Stark Industries and a couple of different things. I saw the Pym Test Kitchen is what they called it. Supposedly it has like one of the most expensive sandwiches. It's a panini sandwich that is supposed to be worth, it costs $100, something like that. But that's not open as of yet. And I was not about to buy a Pym, panini, $100 panini sandwich. That's just really fucking expensive. I'm sorry, there's no way in hell that a sandwich is worth $100, even if it has gold leaf in it, which I'm still not going to eat anyway. And I've had expensive meals before, yes. Stanley says, reminds me a little of the Star Trek experience at the Las Vegas Hilton years ago. Yeah, I remember that. I did that whole thing. That was actually fun. Kind of, sort of, in a way. That the Star Trek experience at the Hilton, that was based more off of like Haunted Mansion. Yeah, it was using the Haunted Mansion technology, but and also Star Tours. That's pretty much what it was kind of combining. I remember at the time, and this is completely different than that. This is actually you're in a little car and you're moving backwards and forwards and you're kind of going around, and they have like the mock-up of giant AT-ATs. So you go into a hangar at one point and there's two gigantic AT-ATs that are right there, and they're like, okay, you got to move, and they have the car move around and whatnot. And you see there's like animatronic characters as well, like Kylo Ren at one point grabs your cars and it's an animatronic character, and then the wall behind him explodes, it decompressurizes, and then something swings down in front of him, so you don't get to see the animatronic creature kind of lurch again. So yeah. But it was always fun, trying to spot all the different little things and here and there, and how they do the magic, if you will. But a lot of it is to get like 3D effects. They had projection on glass, which was kind of cool. So you get a 3D effect going. Some of it was animatronics. Some of it is just, rear projection screens, all that kind of stuff. They did a really good job, I have to admit. It's actually fairly well done. It's a fun ride. It's a bitch to get on because of the the virtual queues and all that kind of stuff, but it's a fun ride nevertheless. Stanley says they didn't have the cars at the time, but you were herded around. Yeah, I remember for the Star Trek experience, there's no car. You get into a shuttle, if you will, and then it's a whole motion flight simulator. And it was supposed to, if I remember correctly, yeah, it was supposed to be a 2-story motion control. So you actually would go dip down like 2 stories, so you get that drop kind of feel. Then you go back up 2 stories, and then whatnot. It was 2 or 3 stories, somewhere around there. It was the same thing as the Star Tours one where you get aboard a shuttle and you're escaping and whatnot. Yeah. But I did like in the Star Trek Experience one where you're on board the elevator and you get transported where the lights dim and you get air that rushes up, your shorts if you're wearing shorts. And it's supposed to be, the simulation of being on a transporter. And then the doors open in front of you and there's people in Starfleet uniform and they're like, one of you is supposed to be the descendant of Jean-Luc Picard or something like that. And we need to keep you safe because they're trying to kill him in the timeline and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I remember all of that. I did not go on Pirates of the Caribbean, Mr. Robotto. That and Haunted Mansion, the lines were fucking insanely long. But I did go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. And it's always fun to go on. I mean, it's a stupid little ride. It really is. And I mean, you just bump around and whatnot, and you're going through. And it was a lot darker than I remembered last time. So I don't know if some of the lights just haven't been burned out or what's going on, but maybe my eyesight's just getting bad because I'm getting older. Who knows? But yeah, that was fun, that part of it. But like I said, it was just way too fucking crowded. It was hard to get stuff to eat too, which was kind of weird. There is no tunnel of love there, Mr. Robotto. There is the teacups, and I don't go on the teacups because that's where little children go and vomit and leave it on the seat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was it? Tomorrowland had a new restaurant or whatever it was that opened up, and it was just really shitty. That was the other thing I found was kind of interesting was that I found that the Disneyland quality had kind of gone down. And the last time I was there was in November of 2019. And from then to now, the quality has dropped a lot. Yeah. Just a lot. Yeah, they all have Wi-Fi, Mr. Roboto. It's Wi-Fi throughout the park. It's free Wi-Fi. You just, log into it and do it there. And I don't see the appeal of California Adventure, Disney's California Adventure Park. I'd never really gone into it, to tell you the truth. I had never gone over that side because it was just like, it's California Adventure Park. And I went over there and I'm like, I don't understand why people would pay in order to go over to this. I mean, it wasn't that much more money for me. I think it was like an extra $20 to get into Disney for the park hopper thing. And I think that was $20 too much for me. But although that is where I found the other child variant. So that was about the only thing that was good that came out of that. But yeah, it just seemed more like not even an amusement park, like a county fair than anything else. There wasn't anything of, I don't know, maybe when Adventures Academy opens up, because that's where Adventures Academy is located at, is over in California Adventure. Maybe then it'll be a little bit more worth it. But as it is right now, that's nowhere near. I do not go on the small world ride at all, Mr. Robotto. That's fucking annoying. That's actually one of those nightmare scenarios is breaking down on it's a small world ride and having been forced to sit there and listen to that song over and over and over again. Yeah. Would not do that in a million years. And I wasn't able to get into the Indiana Jones virtual queue for that ride. That filled up like insanely quick for some reason. That whole area, though, just was really packed full of people for some reason. Because right where the Indiana Jones Adventure is, it kind of bottlenecks. And if you're trying to get over to Galaxy's Edge, that is one of the ways you need to go. because you go through critter country and all that kind of stuff in order to get over that way. And so it kind of bottlenecks around, Jungle Cruise and all that stuff. And then it widens back out again. And then you can go one of two directions, like Big Bear Restaurant or whatever it's called there is where you kind of cut to the right. And that's when you go to, Galaxy's Edge that way. And that's Rise of the Resistance is in that area. And that's when it kind of clears back out again. But yeah, for some reason, right around the Indiana Jones ride, it was just packed full of people. And then the New Orleans corridor got packed too, but that was because they had ropes up around Haunted Mansion to kind of guide people and herd people in different ways. So you had to figure out which direction you were going to go to get around. Yeah. Totally unrelated to Disneyland. Does anyone know what will be following Loki on Disney Plus? Will we have a Star Wars Marvel gap? Let me take a look. I believe I have that up on my schedule. I believe I do have that up on my schedule. Let me see. I'm looking at suspendedfanimation.com where you can go and see where the schedule is and all the future stuff that's coming up as well. So Loki is June 11th. And then what's going to happen is they're going to switch. It's not going to be, so it's usually Star Wars, Marvel, and they're going to put out Monsters at Work Season 1, which is July 2nd. So sometimes they run stuff kind of concurrently as well. So like right now on Disney Plus, not only are they putting out The Bad Batch, but they're putting out new episodes of The Mighty Ducks, which I've talked about before, and something called Big Shot with John Stamos, which is actually a really good show, believe it or not. They're both made for kids and tweens and whatnot, but they're actually fairly well done, I have to admit. So yeah, it looks like Monsters at Work is going to be on July 2nd, which I believe, since Loki is June 11th, that should almost coincide with it. Yeah, I believe that's what ends up happening there. And then I don't know what's after that. So, there you go. Oh, that's right. The What If series. Thank you, Celebra. That is right. Yeah, I believe they fill the gap with Pixar, and then it goes over to the What If series. Yeah. That is right. Thank you, Celebro, and welcome again. What is Loki made for? Loki is made for watching. I don't get the gist of your question there, Mr. Robotto. Watch the trailer for it. It's up online. There's multiple trailers for it. And I'm interested to see, because I mean, this is going to be the Loki that is from 2012. Is that correct? Or he's basically the unrepentant Loki that we got after the Battle of New York. So yeah, he hasn't gone through all this stuff with Thor, and yeah, through Thor Ragnarok and all that kind of stuff. So this is the unrepentant Loki at this point. The one that escaped an Endgame. Exactly, Stanley. Penn says Loki with shades of Doctor. Well, it's going to be more than that. I still say that Kang is going to show up, Kang the Conqueror, in this one, because one, it has to do with time travel. Two, we've seen Kang's girlfriend in the trailer. In the comics, anyway, she's Kang's girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure they're going to bring her in this. And three, we have the time, society there that is dealing with all of this. So there's going to be a lot more time travel shenanigans, and I'm sure we're going to get the female version of Loki. We're going to get Kid Loki. We're going to get all that kind of stuff. which is always fun in the comics. There's already precedence for this in the comics, and that's what a lot of this stuff is based off of. They are mined from, and they changed it a little bit. What does Luke Wilson play? He is Mobius M. Mobius is who he plays. Stanley Turtle says the trailer looked Terry Gilliam and Wes Anderson. Yes, it does. And that's by design. It's supposed to be that way. It's going to be very whimsical and very fun from what I can get a feeling of. And I'm all for that. That seems like it's going to be a lot of fun there. There we go. I can bring this down too. So this little guy you get at, it's in Galaxy's Edge, the Ronto. Basically, it's a pulled pork place is really what it is. But oh my God, it lights up. Oh my God. So there's a button on the bottom. You can light it up and whatnot. But on the inside of this, it's a drink caddy, of course, is a little tiny creature. If you can see that in there. There you go. So that's what that is. I need to clean this out a little bit more too. So I just realized it still smells like the raspberry lemonade, whatever concoction that was in there. No, it's not a candle, Mr. Robotto. It's a drink thing. That's actually a straw at the top too. So see, you drink out of it. It lights up at night and whatnot, and then it spills all over you when you tend to bring it this way, because this does not have a seal on it whatsoever. It doesn't have a good seal at all. And so when you tend to tip it this way in order to drink, it spills all over you on the front. I found that out the hard way. I was wondering why my crotch was getting all wet. I was sitting down at the time and drinking. No, blue milk is separate. It's in a different section of Galaxy's Edge. And blue milk is disgusting, by the way. So there's a blue milk, and then there is a green milk. The green milk is a little bit better, and it tastes like bubblegum. It basically tastes like melted bubblegum ice cream is what it tastes like. The blue milk tastes like vomit. So, yeah. How do I know this? Because I tried both. You have to when you're there, just to see what it's like. And that is the place where it has no line whatsoever. There is literally 0 lines for the milk line. Penn says blue milk doesn't exist to me. I don't blame you. You know what I was disappointed about, Penn, is I wanted to get one of the round Coke bottles again, or the rounds. I was actually going to get one Coke and one Sprite. They don't have them at Disneyland anyway. So at Disneyland, they had a manufacturing, issue. And so they didn't get any of them. They all went to Florida, unfortunately. All those, the round bottom. The round bottles are cool. They look like little detonators kind of thing of Coke. So I did go to the lightsaber shop, Celebro 469. I looked at the dark saber, and so I talked about this last night on the Bad Batch, and I'm glad you brought this up because it reminded me to talk about it again. There are 3 different qualities of lightsabers that Disney has been putting out. So you have the like $14 or $20 ones that you get for the kids, so they can fuck them up and they light up, and they have the telescoping plastic sheath kind of thing. So there's that. Then they have what's called Legends or Legacy. I can't remember what it's called, but they have a Rey lightsaber that's based on that, a Leia lightsaber, and a Luke lightsaber. And then they also have the dark saber, which they're all plastic. So they are plastic with removable blades. The blades light up, of course, but they're very chintzy looking. So the dark saber that they were selling at Disneyland there in the lightsaber shop, they wanted $200 for it. And I was like, I looked at it, I actually held it and I turned it on and I was like, this isn't worth $200. This is worth maybe $30 to $40, but not $200. There was no metal parts to it or anything like that. Didn't come with a stand or anything like that either. And I already have the high-end version, which is the last version of lightsabers, which are metal. They have the light up tubes and whatnot that you can actually are impact resistant, I should say, where they have the sound effects and you can hit it against another lightsaber and have it do the choo choo kind of sound or whatever. So that one is supposed to be coming. I already have it on order. It's supposed to be released in August. And that one comes with a stand and it's metal and it doesn't look like a chintzy blade like that one did. The one at Star Wars or Disneyland it was just basically a white light up plastic tube that had some black tape on the sides of it to make it look like the dark saber. And it was just really chintzy looking for $200. I'm glad I had a mask on because the look of disgust on my face when I handed it back to the person behind the counter probably would have told her, yeah. And I'm pretty sure no one was buying it. It was pretty bad. Stanley Tweedle says blue milk is available on Tatooine. It doesn't always come from sea cow tits. True. Not that you know of, anyway. Maybe it comes from sand cow tits. You never know. There are no other color milks, Mr. Robotto. They're just blue and green. That's it. Unless you add your own food coloring to them. And really, it is. It's like coconut milk and something, some flavorings and whatnot to those milks. They're pretty disgusting. Yeah, and they're really fucking expensive too. I want to say it's like $14. I mean, hell, this thing with the cup, was expensive too. But I believe the drink was $7 if you bought it by yourself. Yeah. Blue milk was ruined for you, Penn, from the JJ version of it, where Luke squeezes out the milk and then takes a big sip out of it and has it running down his beard. Ugh. Yeah. I'm trying to think so I did get a Jedi Temple guard mask is what I bought. That is being shipped over because it was just too fucking big to get on the plane by itself. I would have had to check it, and I didn't have any luggage. I was just traveling with a backpack. It's really what I was doing. When I came back, I actually had more stuff on me than when I left, of course. I packed as much as I could into the backpack. But I still needed the bag. Yeah. I need to check on that tracking number too, by the way. That reminds me. Oh yeah, Luke was ruined for everybody in that trilogy. That trilogy sucked. Yeah, flat out sucked. I don't care what your opinion is on it. Everyone else, it sucked. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I got the hat, got my ears. Yeah, I've never owned Disney ears before, tell you the truth. So, yeah, that was one of the things I got. And these Disney, it was kind of funny. So I have a Disney Rewards credit card is what I got. I got it just before all of this, before I left. And I knew I got discounts at certain places just by showing the card and whatnot. And then I get a discount. And now you have to spend a certain amount in order to get a discount as well, which I already knew I was going to be spending shit tons of money anyway. So I had gone and gotten the hat. I got a Boba Fett shirt as well. That's in the wash. It's getting ready to be washed and whatnot. A few other things here and there. And so I got my discount. And then I left. I was wandering around. I went to some other shops and I was looking around, of course, for prizes for the Bad Batch show. And didn't really find anything I really liked. And I went back over to Tomorrowland for these guys here. So, yeah. Stanley says 7 on its own was, no, it wasn't. It wasn't good. It was not good. They fucked up Han Solo and Han Solo. Han. They fucked him up in number 7. They really did. That's all I can say. The less said about the new trilogy, the better. That's all it is. I mean, you even have the duck-billed troopers. The duck troopers. Quack, 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 quack. Kylo Ren, who is the least frightening Sith Lord, I guess. I want to call him a Sith Edge Lord, is what I want to call him. Yeah, he's a Sith Edge Lord. I'm trying to be edgy because it's cool. You will tell me where the rebel base is, or I'll cut myself to feel. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And I think that's what he sounds like too, if I'm not mistaken. The white armor look like iPhones. Well, no, if you look at the bill portion of it, Stanley, if you color just the part that's over the nose here yellow or an orange, it looks like a duck bill, is what it looks like. Yeah. That's what it is. Man. Yeah, that movie had, well, that series of movies had a lot of problems. One of which was they didn't plan any of it. So that's what ends up happening when you don't plan things out of how they're supposed to go. Sure, you could have done that in the 70s with the way Lucas did it. But yeah. Oof. It's a dead horse. I've beaten it enough. Stanley says, okay, let's agree to forget about those 3. I agree completely. And let us never speak of it again. All right. I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat. And thank you if you made it through this very long, rambly video. I applaud you. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible in one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. They're down there someplace. Also, if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you get the bell down below, someplace over here. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media up there. All the links to my pages are up there as well. And what else do I have going on this week? Well, I might sneak in another Is It Worth My Time tomorrow for Army of the Dead. Excuse me. Ooh. Pardon me on that one. That just snuck up on me. I'm glad I actually felt that one. So I might sneak in another Is It Worth My Time tomorrow for Army of the Dead. Monday I'll be off. Tuesday I'll do another episode of Is It Worth My Time, which will probably be the Mitchell versus the Machines. And then Wednesday and Thursday I'll be off. And then Friday will be the Bad Batch. That's right. And then we roll back around again to Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. And hopefully I'll have my Jedi temple mask by then, you know. It's actually a pretty good size. I was surprised. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wall mount it. I want to put it right behind me here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. We'll find out. All right, everybody. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the weekend, or actually for the day, and let you guys get on with it. I will see you again tomorrow for Army of the Dead, which is most likely going to be the case here, because I need to talk about that shit. I really do. So yeah, go and watch it on Netflix. It's 2.5 hours long. I'm just going to warn you right now. So it was kind of funny. I knew it was a Zack Snyder film, so I'm like, it's either 2.5 or 3 hours long, and I hit it right on the head. It was 2.5 hours. I was like, I knew it. What time, Stanley? I know you are in the. I usually do in the afternoon, but maybe I'll try and eke out something in the morning. How about that, Stanley? It depends on how things are going to go with shithead over here who's laying on the couch. So yes, I do call her that sometimes, shithead. She went to the doggy hotel while I was at Disneyland, and I don't think she's ever been the same since. But I'll try and shoot for the morning sometime, Stanley. I haven't figured it out yet. How about that? All right, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may be reminded of a really shitty trilogy from Star Wars that came after the good stuff. But came, the prequels weren't that great, but still, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Wear those masks. Get those vaccine shots if you can, and have a good one. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day.